Today is the 25th anniversary of the Moon in Antarctica by Modest Mouse. When I went into the basement to dig out my Modest Mouse CDs, to my surprise, they were all gone. Not a single Modest Mouse CD is in my basement, and I don't know why. I clearly have their entire collection, their entire discography. But yeah, I have all of these Modest Mouse albums here that I physically ripped onto my old G4 iMac from way back in the day. Yeah, I put all my music on this thing as I did with all of my CDs. It's a good thing I did that because over the years, some of my music, the physical copies of it, have gone missing. I didn't discover Modest Mouse. My old friend Kurt introduced me to Modest Mouse. By the time he introduced me to Modest Mouse, they had 2 albums out and they had a couple of compilation CDs as well. But the first song he ever played for me was Polar Opposites. And then he played Trailer Trash for me. And I'm like, I'm in. And then, of course, he played Dramamine for me. And I was, as you guys saw, like, years ago, I did a playthrough of Dramamine because I just love Modest Mouse. I think they're great. So I ended up catching them somewhere in between the Lonesome Crowded West and the Moon in Antarctica. I caught them live. And then after the Moon in Antarctica was released, I caught them 2 nights back to back with Built to Spill, which further solidified my appreciation for this band. This album was a bit of a departure from what they had done, but it was also their last album as a 3-piece on record. After this album, they started to branch out a little bit, bringing other people in. As many people know, they later on brought in Johnny Marr, which was great. I saw them also with Johnny Marr when they opened up for REM, and it was awesome. I go way back with these guys. I was listening to those first 2 records for quite some time before The Moon in Antarctica came out. And I have a lot of memories attached to those first 2 albums, especially being on the road with a band and listening to Long Drive for Someone with Nothing to Think About over and over and over and over again. A lot of those songs really spoke to me, and the lyrical content, which they're talking about being on the road. And these guys were my contemporaries. I mean, I'm pretty much the same age as the guys in Modest Mouse. Might even be a year older than Isaac Brock if I'm not totally sure about that. But we were all around playing at the same time, just that the music that I was performing was a bit different and it didn't really fit with what they were doing. But I had a great admiration for all of these indie rock bands, and I did follow them pretty closely as far as listening to their music and everything else. But this album really, it starts off with truly what I feel is the best song on the album, which is Third Planet. It's the lyrical content once again. After this, Good News for People Who Love Bad News came out, and that was where they really blew up. I remember going to visit some friends in LA and my friend Sophie picking me up from the airport, and she was playing this album and I didn't even know it was out. While this may upset some other like diehard fans, I kind of feel like Good News for People Who Love Bad News is a better album. It just is. The production is better. The budget's better. This was their first major label release as well. I think this was on Sony or Epic or something. That's correct. It was on Epic. Once Sony, Epic, or whatever, those big labels get involved, they really push to generate more revenue. And I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not trying to justify what they do, but you can clearly hear that from 2004 on, from the moment they released Good News for People Who Love Bad News. They change a lot. This album, in my opinion, it could have been released first. It could have been their first album. So those first 3 albums, this album, Lonesome Crowded West, which is my favorite, but there's so many great songs and so many great lyrics. Even, as a matter of fact, Mark Kozelek from Red House Painters, he was a huge fan of Modest Mouse, and he put out a cover album. I think he called it Tiny Cities. So anyway, if there are any Modest Mouse fans who caught this video and you have some stories to share about Modest Mouse or some memories, you know what to do. I appreciate you watching, and I'll have another video out to you soon.